Welcome back to Chatter on the Wire. Let's see what trouble I got myself into this week.
This just showed up. The only damage in shipping was that right there. At least so far. We'll see what happens once we get into the boxes. But XTool's D1 Pro, golden red, with air assist and the rotary attachment. A little odd that there's a possible missing piece there. We'll have to check out later. But it looks like the air assist is all here. Rotary. My goal here is just to make sure boxes don't seem to be damaged and everything seems to be, in general, decent condition. And since I couldn't do that one-handed, not too shabby. Time to unbox the directions and see what we have and how long it's going to take. So getting that laser out was a little more difficult than some of these other parts here. As you can see, it was well supported. Maybe that's the best term there. It wasn't bouncing around in here at all. They also did this. I've already emptied this one here. But they made some decent use of some of this space here below the different pieces. But there we have everything. It does appear to come with some test material. A coated chunk of aluminum, I believe. Some cork. My guess is balsa wood. Maybe something's a little harder in here. Some cards there. Get them out of the light. Probably aluminum again. Some little blocks down in there. So it'd be nice to have some different things to test with here. Okay, one of the places I found extremely difficult to get set up or get plugged in was this stupid little cable here. It just did not want to seat, and with a sledge here, there wasn't a lot of playroom there. The other piece I ran into problems with, and not really problems, it just took me a few tries, was getting this bar in here. And it was just because at this other end, you have to get it mounted in there with this loose enough, and it just seemed to keep dropping on me. Having never done that before, having never set up 3D printer, etc., that was probably part of the issue. And last but not least, and there was nothing in the directions about this, so here's your air assist hose connection. When I went to put this in, there was a piece of tape on here, so this wouldn't go in. There was nothing in the directions about removing it or anything else. And with this shield in place to protect you from the laser, it was extremely hard to get that piece of tape off. I had to take a scissor upside down kind of and just basically scrape it across there to catch the tape and pull it through. But it is now done. I've updated the firmware on it, and that was a little interesting. Here, let's see if we can get in here. So this switch right here, and by default it was already set in the firmware update position, and then you just had to flip it over to the left there to finish it. So I think we're good to go. Just have to get my first test done here, which will probably be tomorrow. One other interesting thing, and now I can't really demo it because the laser's in the way, but it had you push this piece on this side and the equivalent of it over on the other side all the way in to where, in theory, they were touching here so that you knew that they were lined up. The problem is, and I don't know if you can pick this up with a light. Notice how that board sticks out, or that the PCB board sticks out just a little bit there. That left this side off a little compared to the other side. so I had to actually push it back to the back end and line them up there, which isn't perfect either, but then just double checked it afterwards. So I think we're good. You know, if you want the x-axis to work, you really have to plug that wire in right there. So it was really nice of the snowplow to go by last night. We were leaving the house about an hour ago, and I do say an hour ago, and there was a 6 foot by about 2 foot wide heavy mess at the end of the driveway. Okay, first test of any real size. I think it told me it was going to be 35 minutes. We're already 22 and it's not even halfway, so unlike some of my other ones, this one's having a much harder time. Zoom back out here. I think the overall size is 5 inch by 9 inch. Something like that. I'll have to double check. Testing, this seems to be just fine. I do need to look into why it keeps pausing like this. I don't know if that's the slow computer I have and it's feeding it, or if this is an issue somewhere else. So I got to look into that because, like I said, this is taking much longer than a lot of the previous ones did, but the previous ones I did were all much smaller as well. So it was going pretty well here, but then, see if I can get that lined up. It's kind of hard, and I think I bent it a bit back. But you can see it's no longer quite straight. The laser must have heated a section up, and this card is just thin enough that it started to bend, and so that one went bad. So the next one I taped down on 3 of the 4 corners, and it heated up this corner just enough to bring it up, and then it started catching it and bending that one. Get that a little better. You can kind of see that warp in it. So these business cards, trying to do removal of a ton of stuff, seems to be heating them up, and so I'm going to have to play with the settings if I'm going to try these in the future, and I just wanted to use this before I did anything else. So we'll see. These might not be the best test medium because they're so thin compared to some of the other metal I'll be working with. So we got the air pump hooked up. And it's going to town. We'll take a look at this when it's done. We're about 40 minutes in right now. Should have been done 10 minutes ago. But have 3 more rows of the flag to finish up here. You can see what the weather's like outside. Unfortunately, it's about 40 degrees. And slushy, but got what, 3 feet of snow, give or take here. There's my original furnace, sort of buried there. But nice and quiet out here. We did a reverse flag here. Want to see how this one looks when it's done and compare that to the other one, but this will be more of the how I'll do the rest of the metal afterwards. Well, it's just finishing up the table here. I'll get a better picture of it when it's done. If I would have been paying attention, I would have done the whole thing in this orientation instead, but oh well, too late now. Well, that's it for this installment. Please think about hitting the like button, subscribing if you aren't already, and clicking on one of the other videos. See you in the next one.